when you actually want to fight with people, if you actually want to challenge people, those people don't want to talk to you. This is something that my whole career has been like continually learning this. So like in the beginning of this year, I chatted with, I debated Shapiro, Owens, and Peterson, but it was only because I was willing to like do it with like kids' gloves the whole time.
And you,
this guy is ridiculous. He's so far up his own. He thinks he's a great debater or something, and he has to tone it down for people that just don't debate in good faith. Meanwhile, Norman Finkelstein, everybody saw that train wreck of him getting just absolutely steamrolled and manhandled. Defending the establishment is so unprofitable.
they liked each other at the end.
It was, I mean, but because it was a nice...
You both talk fast.
No, it was because if he says some crazy shit, I'm not going to call him out hardcore on it. Because I'm trying to be nice and like build bridges so we can have more challenging conversations.
Right, because you have no values or principles, you know, you'll go along with it. You want to speak the king's language.
But I think the reality is that if it's ever going to be only because of the yarmulke.
And but you're saying that you debate only things you're passionate about. So what gave you a passion for it?
I don't know initially here. I think that personally, in like the month before October, it was the first time I'd ever had like a formal diagnosis for ADHD, and I started medication for it. So I'm not joking.
You're gonna do this TikTok crap, your mental illness?
No, I'm saying that for the first time in my life, okay, because there's been a lot of jokes on my stream about how I'm always playing games and I'm like debating people at the same time and I'm watching videos and I'm like...
Yeah, maybe you should just stick to like one of those things.
But I started medication and I noticed afterwards that I can actually sit and just read a book. And it's been very hard to like read like full books and read and whole...
Well, we know, Destiny. We know that's very difficult for you.
You started reading books?
Yeah, books.
What's your first book that you read?
I was trying to think of a joke. Stop.
The Game. Neil
what?
Strauss, The Game.
Yeah.
Easy. Okay, go.
Hilarious pop culture reference.
Okay, continue.
For Israel Palestine, it was.
What was the first? You said you learned how to read.
I think it was like
book?
Scars of War, Wounds of Peace by I think Shlomo Ben-Ami was his first book on the Camp David peace process. Yeah. But
the one book that he's read, he cites Shlomo Ben-Ami. I find that to be hilarious. Shlomo Ben-Ami is an Israeli war criminal. He's the former finance and foreign minister. I think he's held a couple different cabinet positions. And he's also one of the people that we can look to when we want to cite the crimes of Israel, the Israeli state. He's on record of having admitted, for instance, that the Second Intifada turned into a full-out war because of the IDF escalation. Before that, it was an authentic. These are virtual quotes. They were the Palestinians began the Intifada as a peaceful, authentic struggle for democracy, for Palestinian independence, and that was because. And this is all Shlomo Ben-Ami, this is Destiny's author that he claims to have read. For his one book, he basically oversaw the Oslo Accords and attested to the fact that if he were Palestinian, for instance, he would not take the deal that the Israelis gave him. Another quote from Ben-Ami is that the meaning of Oslo was to install Palestinian subcontractors to carry on the duties of occupation without Israeli military presence within the Strip. Just blatant confessions from a war criminal. We want to learn, objectively about the Israel-Palestine conflict. We're going to read Israel's foreign minister, of course. That makes a whole hell of a lot of sense.
After I was able to like read stuff, history became a lot more interesting to me. Like a joke on my stream was always fuck history, that's boring as fuck. But now I super enjoy reading about history. And then in reading and learning the conflict, like there's just like a lot of cool people, events, like places. There's just like a lot of cool stuff involved.
So what led?
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things, according to Destiny, involved in the conflict between Palestine and Israel. Just a lot of cool events, I wonder if Adam Friedland had any awareness. He might have asked him, what cool things is he talking about? What is he referring to? What are these cool events in the history of Israel versus Palestine ever since 1948? I really want to know. I really would love to know that.
To the conclusion that you've reached.
This is my sales pitch for Israel-Palestine, okay?
Yeah.
This is my issue.
God, he's got a sales pitch. He's car salesmaning a geopolitical conflict and a ongoing genocide. That's nice. How sleazy, right?
Both sides are very invested in telling an entirely alternative history to the other side. And because...
The only thing is, though, that when he says both sides, he doesn't mean Palestine and Israel. It's Palestine and the entire international community versus Israel. It's every relevant international authority whether it be a judicial body, a political body, you name it, human rights organization, humanitarian organization, every relevant authority that has weighed in on this matter concludes that Israel is guilty of savage injustices and some of the worst crimes against humanity, and that has been ongoing. And the entire world, when it votes in the UN, votes to uphold the Resolution 242, which was created in 1967, which was a response of Israel's war of aggression against Syria, Jordan, and Egypt, and Palestine, and the acquired territory that they were able to take and then subsequently settle. These were all war crimes. I mean, there's no both sidesing this, and the fact that he tries to say that it's just, this is the enlightened centrist for you. Everything's on an even space. There's no power asymmetry. Obviously, both sides are just telling a different narrative. It's just as simple as that. There's one side and there's not. No, it's like there's one side with a mountain of evidence that condemns the Israeli state, and you can't find that to go against Palestine. And we go through this every time we bring up this geopolitical crisis. It's analogous to other historical events that we all understand to not have two sides to it, aka slave owners and slaves, or Jews and the Nazis. It's like saying the Nazis and the Jews are really just trying to sell this completely different narrative, and he's like basically telling you, I just see it as both the same. I'm just gonna pick the one that's rich. And it's funny that the only book that he's read, in my view, I think AIPAC or some aspect of the Israeli lobby approached him to start covering the Israel-Palestine conflict. You can call it that. It seems a little bit mild of a term given the circumstances, but here we're going to pay you this money, just read this book. I mean, who is how do you think that Destiny just came across Shlomo Ben Ami's book very voluntarily, of his own volition? I seriously doubt it. I think he had to have known there was money behind those words, right? And if he could articulate whatever was written in Shlomo Ben Ami's book, he would be able to make some money off of that. That's the only thing that really makes sense in my mind. Yeah, it just seems like so far off who's reading books? I didn't even really know that the guy was an author. Like the only reason I know about Shlomo Ben Ami is because he's cited in the historical record as admitting to war crimes as he was acting in the Israeli government. Like he oversaw these things and it contributed to them, participated in them, formulated them. These are some of the most powerful people in the Israeli government, and you're saying, yeah, I understand the Israeli-Palestine conflict because I read the foreign minister's book. It's like, yeah, I read Netanyahu's book. I'm dialed in. So let's see what he says. I'm sorry, I interrupted. Let's see, maybe he's got some just a golden nugget he's about to lay.
The winner.
What?
You go with the winners.
No, I think
Adams does it in a very comical kind of way, sort of unassuming kind of way. He's right. He's basically saying what I just said, but in 3 words.
Shared mutual history between the two. But the people on the far sides of this don't like to acknowledge any of the shared stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of shared stuff between Nazis and Jews, and people on the far fringes of this crisis. They want to cherry pick and have their biases. There's a lot of shared history, mutual history between slaves and slave owners. It's just that people on the fringes of pro-slavery, anti-slavery, there's a little center there where everything is just neutral and nice. And that's what the enlightened centrists, that's what they do. So for instance, in 48, right? Correct. I understand why the Jews would want to leave Europe after the Holocaust and everything else, and after they got promised to the British in 1917 with the Balfour Declaration and all this. I understand that. But I also understand if you're a Palestinian or an Arab, why you want to fight these motherfuckers coming in.
They've made a bad bet.
I can't believe he's even admitted that, to be honest.
Seems like if we look today, it's a pretty good bet, no?
No, because the objective of Zionism is to keep Jews safe, and in that sense, it's been a failure. Because they're at war the whole time.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. I mean, I wouldn't say that's the objective of Zionism, but that's what Zionism rides with, the one and only Jewish state, as we hear Netanyahu say so often. But he's sort of right. He's like, all right, I'll accept the Zionists are here to save the Jews and make a peaceful, safe place while they're failing at it. That's kind of, it's a good rhetorical device, I think, to prove it's pretty persuasive, is just take the opponent's talking point and say, well, then I guess you're just a failure because you're not doing that.
Or is that they're winning though, right?
What is winning wars? People
As in the country still exists and there's not millions of Jewish people being murdered. What do you mean?
Well, there's certainly the Jewish ethno-state of Israel still exists, but it's not accurate to say that it's doing well. I mean, we know that they're constantly under attack. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, have fled since October 7th and the year afterwards, after October 7th. We know that, they've lost billions and billions of dollars in their economy. They're hemorrhaging money just trying to keep the war machine going, and the people are not safe. There's an air raid siren every 15 minutes, exaggerating probably, but throughout the whole country, I think it's pretty pervasive and persistent. And, a lot of the businesses are shuttering. I forget, it's like tens and tens and tens of thousands of businesses have shuttered, like way more than a normal year, right? And they're becoming an international pariah. Not to mention on the international stage, like their prime minister and defense minister, former defense minister, are wanted for war crimes. They have an arrest warrant. They can't travel to certain countries or they'll be arrested. They are internationally recognized as a war criminal state. Not only that, the ICJ has concluded definitively that it is an apartheid state. Of course, we knew all this already, but they formally declared it. They formally concluded this. What else? I mean, we could go on and on. It's not a good look. I mean, look, when you're a nation state and your policy is just to start wars with every country around you and create an apartheid and commit a genocide and just you think you're going to murder millions of people into a diplomatic settlement? I mean, that's absolutely crazy. So the situation's very untenable, and I think Destiny's trying to say that they're winning. I mean, in what sense are they winning? They haven't even achieved any of their war aims. They haven't even achieved any of their military objectives. They haven't defeated Hamas. They haven't invaded and defeated Hezbollah. They haven't defeated Iran. They haven't defeated the Houthis. They haven't brought the captives home. Thank you. Exactly. They haven't freed the sausages. They haven't freed the sausages, and they haven't fried the hummus. So I don't know what the he's talking about.
Successive war, there was a huge migration of Jews from surrounding Arab states because
Correct.
people would get mad. Yeah. So today, the majority of the people living there are of Middle Eastern descent, right?
Is it worth having like a democracy that's based on ethnicity, where in order to maintain it, you have to maintain a majority naturally, right?
The sad thing is that probably most democracies are built this way.
Adam's trying to lead him down the primrose path, but Destiny is not taking the bait. He's definitely being obstinate and obviously doubling down.
Aren't perceiving it because you don't have that same kind of
I'm American, bro.
Yeah, you don't have the same pressure.
Sick.
Like even in the United States, we don't take more than, of all the immigrants legally we accept per year, no more than 7% come from each country,
That's not
right?
the point I'm making. The point I'm making is if you're going to establish a Jewish state, right, you have to establish a Jewish majority.
Sure.
He's trying to say, if you have a Jewish state, you have to have priority given to Jewish people. And necessarily what is implied through that is that you have to subjugate other social groups. Forming a state, Adam is saying, on the basis of some social group or ethnic group supremacy implies domination, implies apartheid, basically.
It's going to be a democracy, right?
Yeah.
And so, there's a demographic issue if there's just as many Palestinians.
Yeah, there is.
That's exactly why there needs to be an apartheid if you're a Jewish ethno-state. The moment that you give rights to the non-Jewish communities is the moment that it's no longer a Jewish ethno-state, because they are going to vote away the priorities of Jewish people. And so better to keep them in camps and tents and fleeing from one war crime to the next. Yeah, Adam seems to be a little bit more reasonable. I mean, a lot of bit more reasonable. But that's not saying much because we're dealing with, as one chatter pointed out, density, not destiny.
Traditionally, they didn't capture the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, and after 67 they did, and it fucked shit up a lot for them.
This is not like...
What? Destiny? I mean, he's saying the fact that they didn't stay after, in 56, the first time they invaded the Gaza Strip, the fact that they didn't stay there and occupy, that was a bad move. That it really cost them. So after 67, they were right to occupy. I mean, this is like when you don't understand, you have colonial brain rot, you have imperial brain rot and you don't even know it. You are so cucked by the empire. It's unreal. You can't even understand that what the entire international community thinks, which is resoundingly against the policies of the United States and Israel. You're just gonna side with empire just 'cause might makes right? And I think Adam's on point when he says, well, you've sided with the rich people. Better to side with the winners. And I feel like Destiny's trying to do all these mental gymnastics to show, oh, no, it's not about money. It's, let me bring out all these talking points. But everything that he says is so easy to refute.
Traditionally, they didn't capture the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, and after 67 they did, and it fucked shit up a lot for him.
I still can't even say, because he talks so fast, if he's trying to say that it up for them after 67 because they occupied, or it fucked for him before 67. But either way, he's speaking out of his arse.
Not like two sovereign groups of people that are at war with each other. There's a power imbalance, and if you ignore that power imbalance and you say that there are two sides to every story, then you ignore kind of the political reality there.
Which is exactly what I was just saying, right? He was trying to say in so many words that it's just everything's on an even playing field. There's two sides to the story. What Adam is correctly pointing out is that there is obviously a power asymmetry that you're not recognizing. It's akin to slave owner to slave.
I understand your view. I think that your view is super wrong.
Why?
Because you're only accounting for one side, and you make it seem like it's so obvious, like who's
Why
in
am I
wrong.
counting for one side?
Because you're saying that it's so simple for who the wrong side is here, when it's not. Both sides
I
have
didn't
made...
say the wrong side. I said
Generally, as soon as
there's
you utter
an
the
issue-
phrase power imbalance, it's like you're automatic...
He's hurt by facts. Destiny is so hurt, he's so in his feelings. As soon as you start actually acknowledging the material conditions of this geopolitical crisis, as what Adam refers to as the political reality, that there is a completely asymmetrical power differential happening that is akin to not persecuting the Jews. But now he's like, oh, you're talking to me. Once you say power imbalance, once you start acknowledging that's when I check out. That's, because it doesn't comport with my surface level understanding. It's like Destiny is still not graduated past that cognitive level of sense perceptions and impressions about his world. He doesn't understand that every action has a reaction, every action has a consequence, every event has two aspects to it. It's interesting because he's trying to say that there's two sides, but he doesn't actually acknowledge the reality of these two sides. Because yes, there are two sides. Okay, yes, there's Israel and there's Palestine, but you're not acknowledging the power imbalance, just what Adam Friedland said, the power differential between the two.
They don't have this right to self-determination.
Okay, do the people,
That's just a fact.
even with what you're saying, do the people around them with self-determination have the right to vote?
Logical
Yeah,
fallacy.
they don't.
Logical fallacy.
Actually, no.
Do the people around them have the right to self-determination, have the right to vote? I don't know what he means by the people around them, but either way, I think Adam just immediately called it out with two words, logical fallacy, because he's saying you're doing a whataboutism. Well, what about these other people? So I'm not really quite sure what Destiny's point is here, but either way, it's not really a relevant point to the Palestinians themselves.
Logical fallacy. Actually,
I'm saying that they don't have political sovereignty.
That's true.
And they are occupied
That's
by
true.
people that do.
that's true. But then the question is, what is the rest?
So he's like, oh, the power imbalance. No. Power imbalance. Well, then he lays it out for him. He's like, well, that's true. Okay.
That look like?
Anytime the fucking prime minister is about to go to jail, then he has to fuck up some Palestinians. That's the
I
resolution.
haven't heard a resolution.
My grandma lives in Cape Town, bro.
Jesus.
She didn't have to move because black people got to vote.
What does it have to do with?
You can end an apartheid.
Yeah, he's like, well, what would that look like? He's like, man, if we, Destiny is saying, if we did give them their political sovereignty, then what would that look like? It's sort of racist, right? It's sort of coded anti-Arabism or Islamophobia. It's like, we can't give these savages their state. I mean, what would that look like? They're just gonna conduct their T-word campaigns. He's like, we can't give these people. I mean, what would that look like? I mean, it sounds so benign to ask that question, but it's so racist. That's those Western values for you, bruh.
Do you think that if Jews lived as a minority,
I do right now.
do you think that you live in a minority state where the majority are Arabs?
I'm a minority in America.
Are the majority here Arabs? Do you think that you would face the same pressure here?
What-
He's doubling down on his racism. We're talking about Arabs though. He's like, I am a minority right now. Yeah, but what if all of the majority were Arabs? Like, what if you were just surrounded by Arabs everywhere? I mean, wouldn't that scare you, Adam? Like, I understand you're a minority, but at least like you're surrounded by other white people, right? Insane, right? Like, aren't you also terrified of Arabs? I mean, this is absolutely disgusting bile.
What's the difference? I'm saying it's a country where people vote.
Okay.
He's so bested right now. You can tell. It's sort of clicking in his mind that no, it's not. Never mind, I take that back. We know he's dense, but he's definitely communicating that. Let's just say that. He's communicating to his audience, to the audience. Destiny is that he's bested, he's cooked. He's lost the plot, and he doesn't have really a response at this point. He's like, okay.
My top line complaint actually is I actually feel like no foreigner should ever talk about Israel-Palestine.
They should have Gaza Germany. he's
So now he's saying, he's crawfished his way out of the entire point that he made, because he can't stay there, obviously. It's been nuked. So if he can't die on that hill, he's already dead. So he's got to move. He's retreating. And now he's saying, well, actually, I don't think I should be saying anything because I'm a foreigner. Nobody should be saying anything about Israel-Palestine, actually. Now that I don't have a point and I have lost the plot, I should just shut up, and so should you. We should both be quiet. So if I'm going to lose this debate, I'm taking you with me, Adam Friedland. That's what Destiny's saying right now.
We had beef with them, no?
I don't know how that would have worked, but maybe they should have. It's like people complaining about past wrongs. I can understand that. I'm sympathetic towards that, but that doesn't get you any closer to what does the resolution look like? And if you just say, well,
the resolution is that everyone...
It's not past wrongs. It's you can show it's happening now, you know? The resolutions, the rulings, the ICJ rulings, all of these, the ICC rulings, all of these things are happening right now, okay? You know, it's 1 year into an absolute genocide, you know, and we can look into the historical record and cite other examples. We can cite, well, you know, obviously since 1967, Israel has been in violation of international law, but they're still, the point is that it's still relevant. We go back to 1967 because that's the last crime of aggression. I mean, that's formally what the crime of aggression is recognized as. You know, according to the UN, which we understand is also a political organization controlled by the United States. So they are normalizing what happened in 1948 when you go back to 1967, because 1948 should not be normalized, but it is through the UN. But we're just saying that even according to the UN, which birthed Israel, Israel is condemned, okay? But that's not past wrongs, that's present wrongs. They're ongoing. It's not justifiable.
Oh my God, you're still here? What are you doing here? I just told you to go to my new page. Why are you still watching videos from this page? It's rude, it's disrespectful, especially when you know how much this means to me. If you don't get your ass over to the new page right now, I am going to get upset. You don't want to see me upset. I will call your mom. Do you really want me to call your mother and tell her that her son is a failure? I don't think so, okay? I know that's not what's in your heart, okay? So do me a favor, subscribe to the new page so we can get back rolling on this, okay? It's like I try so hard and I get so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Because you don't go subscribe to the new page when I tell you to do that because you like me, you really, really like me. You have 5 seconds. You have 5 seconds to click that link right there in the caption, in the description, and if you don't move your ass, I swear to God, you do not want to mess with me, I'm a gangster.